Hey everybody, happy Friday, happy weekend. I hope you had an awesome third week. Is it already the third week of May? That is just crazy to me. The month is totally flying by, and I say this all the time when I'm talking to people, friends or whatnot, but I feel like time is a thief. And time is just like fleeting, and we can see it. We can see it every day with our own little kids and with our families and our pets and just everything that grows, right? That it's a thief. But here's the flip thought on that. It can also be super, super beautiful if we choose and allow ourselves to think of it that way. So, and I just want to tell you, as I'm sitting here reflecting and thinking on the week and thinking about the month, I know what it's like, you guys, to feel like you're putting one foot in front of the other and trying to make life just work. Whether it's like in your marriages, with kids, maybe you have 1,000 little babies at home, maybe you're homeschooling them, maybe you're going through a really hard time. I've been there, you guys. I have been in seasons like that, and I know what that's like. I know what it feels like to be trying to put out an invisible battle that nobody else knows that's going on, or nobody else could maybe even see it. And here we are, up front and center on social media, showing up, trying to encourage others. And in the meanwhile, we're fighting our own thoughts, and we're fighting our own beliefs, and we are fighting our own emotions, sometimes in what feels like we are just trying to survive or stay afloat, right? I don't want you to hear this from me. I want you to know that I see you, I feel you, I hear you. And I know that sounds so cliche, but I have been there, truly. And I just want to remind you that you're not alone. You're never alone. You're not alone in life. You're not alone in this. You're not alone as a parent. You're not alone as a wife. You're not alone as a mama. You're not alone in your job. You're not alone. We see you, we hear you, we feel you, we get you. And we're here for you, and we're here for each other. And that's one of the beautiful things about this. And guys, your goals and dreams in life and in Plexus and in your business, all of them matter. They do. And if you need help, you just need to reach out, talk to us. We can help you, we can encourage you, yes, there might be some hard things that you might not want to hear sometimes, right? Because that's our job, is to foster you into growth. But we also meet with compassion, and we love you, and we feel you, and we know where you've been. You're never alone in this. So what I want you to do over this weekend and today is to really take some time, quiet time, like really still time, and really reflect on where you want to be. Where do you want to be? How do you want this month to end for you? Okay, and now if you've ever watched TV, which I don't watch a ton of TV, that's one of the things that, other than This Is Us, it's one of the things that I feel like hasn't added a ton of value or growth, so I don't do it a ton or very often. But if you watch TV, or if you've ever watched your kids on their devices, things are changing constantly. There's pop-up after pop-up, there's ad after ad, there's picture after picture and glimmer after glimmer that's bombarding and changing constantly. And it's changing our brains. What it's doing is training us to look at the next thing. And our brains are becoming wired and trained to constantly not be in the moment, but look for what's next and what's coming. And that's one of the reasons why I try to really limit my kids' social media time during the week, because we live in a very fast-paced, what's next society. Did you know that the majority of Americans, and I did learn this when I was teaching, have an attention span of 3 to 7 seconds? This is adults, you guys, not just kids. 3 to 7 second attention span before their mind is drifting. And I want you to be super duper conscious of that, not only for yourselves, because being self-aware is super duper important in this, but for other people, for people on your team, for people that you're serving and loving and people you're reaching out to. So when you think about the first of the month, okay, you had the first of the month come and maybe there were some incentives that corporate gave out. Maybe there were some incentives that sponsors gave out. Maybe there were some aspirations and goals and wishes that you had in your mind and you really had envisioned for yourself, okay? And then the month progresses a little bit and we're mid-month and people maybe start ghosting a little bit. Or maybe people are falling off and you look into the back office and you're like, oh, what happened to that person who is ordering? What does that say about me, right? That's where we fall. Even if we don't try to, sometimes that can be where we are. Our brains are trained to be constantly looking for what's wrong, how to protect us, and what's next. And you guys, that's not right. It's just the way that society has gone and how our brains have gone. But now that we know that, we know what's up for us and our people, and we can be aware of it so we can make some changes and adjustments because of it, right? It's just because of how people honestly are. It's just how it is, right? So what can we do about that? Number one, reel yourself back in. So become super duper aware of it and reel yourself back in. When I was in therapy, a lot of you guys know that I went through a lot of trauma in 2015-16. And I sat in the therapist's office for countless hours, you guys. I have had countless hours of training, or of therapy, not of training, but sometimes I feel like I had training throughout my therapy. But the therapist told me, I want you to sit here and I want you to sit and I want you to be still and I want you to feel your feelings for 5 minutes. And I don't even think I got through 1 minute and I could not handle it. I couldn't stand it. It was extremely uncomfortable. She wanted me to be really aware of everything I was thinking and feeling and to just slow it and be okay with it and dive into it. And I didn't know how to do that. It was something I needed to learn. It was a skill that hadn't been taught. And what I'm saying this for is, you guys, I want you to do this because it's a better way for you. It's healthier. I want you to have really, really good days. And when you hit your head on the pillow at the end of the day, to know that you did what you wanted to do well and that you're proud of yourself and you're not shaming yourself. I want you to really be able to hone into and become super aware of, what am I thinking during the day? Why am I thinking that? What are you avoiding? And what are you diving into? And I'll say those 4 things one more time. So as you go through your days, I want you to be super duper hyper aware. What are you thinking? Why are you thinking that? What are you avoiding? And what are you diving into? Guys, you can learn this. This is a skill, right? So you're going to have to choose it. But I promise you, it is so much better through life and through for your business if you choose it. So if you find yourself going back and forth, that is like the fight or flight mode, right? Like none of us like to, our bodies and our brains are trained to avoid discomfort, whether it's emotional discomfort, physical discomfort. We don't want to have pain. So we avoid it. Our brains will try to do that. But when you can learn to stop and think, like, why am I not going in my back office? I know that I need to check if subscriptions haven't gone through. I know I need to read this message. Why am I not doing that? I'm avoiding whatever it is. I'm avoiding my reach outs. I'm avoiding my personal growth. Okay, I'm avoiding it. Why? Why am I avoiding it? Is it because it feels bad when you're doing it? Is it because you feel like it's going to reflect something about yourself that you don't like? that you don't want to face? Is it because it causes you to shame yourself? You guys, every single action has an equal or opposite reaction. And that's science. We learned that as kids, right? But so do our thoughts. So where are you getting your pushback from? That's my question. Our fear stories will recreate themselves every single day. And everybody's look different based on who you are and your life experience, right? But when we are avoiding diving in, when we are avoiding facing them, when we feel that is when we're avoiding and when we're feeling like we've failed and we're not diving in, we feel like we failed even more because now we're not doing it. When in reality, we've avoided it. We haven't failed. So let me take follow-ups, for example. Okay, so let's pretend you've avoided following up. Okay, then you go to bed at night like, oh gosh, I stink. Like, I'm never gonna hit this spot or that spot because I failed at following up. You didn't fail at following up. You just didn't do it. You just avoided it. And why? Why did you avoid it? There's a reason. And it's not because you're busy. Because if it's a priority, it'll happen. You're avoiding it because of a reason. And what is that reason? Is it because of what you feel like it says about you? Is it because you don't want them to ghost you? Because of what you feel like that says about yourself? Do you feel rejected? What is it? Really get honest with yourself. Dive in and let us help you reframe it if you really want it. And this will help in all areas, not just plexus. You have to get really, really real with yourself. What are you avoiding feeling? What consequence do you not want to have? So go to your worst case scenario, guys. Okay? I'm avoiding my follow-ups. All right? Awesome. Not awesome, but so what's the worst case scenario? What's going to happen? What's going to happen if I follow up? If I follow up, okay, I might get a no. Well, so what does that mean? What does that say about me? I might get ghosted. Okay. All right. So what if I get ghosted? I might get yelled at or unfriended. Okay. So what if I get yelled at or unfriended? What does that say? How does that change things for you? Dive into it. Because you won't end up where you want to be if you don't address it. So like, worst case scenario, I don't do my follow-ups, I don't do my reach outs. Okay, you're not gonna hit your goal then, right? Okay, if that's the worst case scenario. If you don't send the message, if you don't lead your team or guide your team that you have before you, you might not be seen or standing on the stage or be viewed at as a leader, right? Because you're not taking your responsibility seriously. Okay, all right, well then I might not be viewed that way. Okay, so now what? Go down that rabbit trail, you guys. Do it. Okay? And I'm not saying it doesn't hurt. It hurts when we're avoided. It hurts when people stop doing the products and they don't tell us why. But it's not bad. And I can tell you that if you stay in that feeling, it will perpetuate every single fear story you have. So instead, what I want you to do is get really honest with yourself and ask the question, because 9 times out of 10, it has nothing to do with us and it has nothing to do with our products. There could be a million reasons. I'm going to give you an example. Okay. Annalia's teacher, I stop in her classroom a lot. Okay. And whenever she needs a sub, she hasn't been asking me the last couple of weeks. So right away, I went to my fear story of I'm not doing a good job. That's my fear story. I'm disappointing somebody. I'm letting God down. Those are my fear stories that I've had since I was little. She doesn't want me because I let her down. It's my fault. And I caught myself and I said, well, it could be a million reasons. And I thought, well, if I ask her about it, I'm going to feel like a total idiot, right? And the school year is almost over. But then I leaned into it and I said, there's a way that you can do it that's really healthy. And so I reached out to Anna's teacher and I said, listen, I know that at the beginning of the year and in the middle of the year, you were asking me to sub for the class all the time. I know that it's the end of the year right now and this doesn't really matter, but it's really important for me. I've homeschooled 3 of my other kids. I like to be present for Analia, and since I have a teaching degree, I like to sub when I can to be there present for her class. I know that you know that, and I know you haven't been asking me lately. And I want you to know that that's okay. This isn't about me needing to be chosen. But what I need to know from you is if I did something that I need to be aware of. And then if I would have, I could have shifted it, right? If I could have evaluated it and shifted it. Did I do something that I need to be aware of that caused this? Because I like to be very introspective and very honest with myself. And this isn't how things were before. And if I did do something that needs to be shifted, that maybe you didn't love as a teacher, I would like to know that so I can change that for next year when I'm helping Anna's teacher. And she messaged me back and she's like, no, Kim, absolutely not. We love you. I love you. The kids love you. You're a fantastic teacher. There is another 3rd grade teacher that is retiring. And so there's a teacher that's taking over for her that's currently a sub. And she wants to get more experience in 3rd grade. So I've been letting her take my positions. It has nothing to do with you, I promise. And I was like, oh my gosh. If I wouldn't have asked that question, if I wouldn't have dove in, I am language minor. If I wouldn't have dove in and if I would have let it, that fear story would have perpetuated. And I would have thought I was the reason when I wasn't. So lean in, you guys. Lean in. Dive in, ask the questions, be real. You will see that you can do this. Because when you shy away, all you're going to do is think about the lack. If I wouldn't have reached out to Anna's teacher, I would have thought about probably all week, and maybe even next year when I started subbing, am I going to do this again? Is our next teacher going to be upset with me? All you're going to think about is the lack. When you hit your pillow at night, I don't want you to be like, oh my gosh, like I didn't follow up and now I suck because I didn't do enough reach outs and gosh, I'm a loser because I don't do my personal growth. Lean into why and then dive into those moments, the ones that feel hard, because then your day at the end of the day is going to feel so much better. And that's what it takes to be consistent in life in general, you guys, is diving in and facing those fears. So it's the 20th of the month today, I think, right? Yeah, it's the 20th. So I like to look at our month in terms of 3s. And so we are 1/3 roughly through our month if we have 30 days in the month. And big on point tracking. Awareness is how you get to from where you are to where you want to be. Where did you want to be at the beginning of this month? And now are you just changing your goal on yourself because you're like, oh, I can't do this, or I don't want to do the work? Or are you having doubts of yourself? Because if you're changing your goal, not that there's not sometimes circumstances to do that, but where's your belief in yourself and in this? And are you doing that to keep yourself feeling safe? What's that about, right? So let's pretend you wanted to hit goal this month. That's 100 points. Divided by 3, we're 2/3 of the month through. So you should be roughly at 66 points right now. We know there's more points that process on the 28th, right? Because a lot of orders tend to happen then between the 28th and 30th or 31st. How many subscriptions do you have left and how many do you need? And then what you do is you find out the difference to make up how many orders do I need. Guys, we can't go through this blindly. We can't have the blinders on and just magically look at our back office and hope we get to where we want to be without mapping it out and without being intentional. That's like driving to California without a roadmap and saying, I know I'm going west, so I should probably get there just fine, right? Like, no, be really honest with yourself and clear and keep yourself accountable in a kind and loving way. How many subscriptions do you need? Subtract that from the total you need. Track it, because then you know, and then you're aware. And if you have work to do and you're like, shoot, I wanted to hit gold, I'm only at 25 points. Okay, all right, so you need 75 points. That's 15 orders roughly. Okay, where are they gonna come from? New recruits, team recruits, white lines, where are they gonna come from? Where are you gonna pencil the time in to make it happen? Okay, I don't want you to be in a constant plan mode, hustle mode. I want for you, more than anything else in this business, to have fluidness and consistency and confidence and belief all throughout the month that's sustaining. Okay, that you're operating in your strengths and you're being honest and you're facing your fears and you're moving forward. Consistent efforts every single day and showing people what they need in getting to where you want to be and helping your team be where they want to be. I hope you have the best weekend, you guys. Go crush some goals.